So Brawl Stars just released the biggest new teaser for the brand new update, and with Brawl Talk coming on Saturday, let's just dive straight into the animation.
Not everyone will make it in this show. The odds will be
It's like a mini film.
You'll be pushed to the limit. But let me tell you something.
See, I find this bit interesting.
I have no limit! I'm charging up to the max.
Oh
And then charging up even more!
no. So Hypercharge is coming. The Brawl Talk on Saturday. And then at the end, there was some type of Morse code. We'll jump into that later, which I still can't really decipher. After watching that animation, don't you guys agree that that was one of the best animations there's been for a long time? It was like a mini movie trailer. It was so amazing. So what can we actually pull apart from this clip? So after watching it about 10 or 15 times, these are the things that I picked up on the most. Of course, I might have missed out on a few things. So let me know if I do in the comment section. But for now, I think obviously the big talking point is Brawl. Brawl has been a talking point for a long while now, just because he hasn't been the best brawler in the meta for a while. His super is a little bit weird and doesn't really suit him anymore, I believe. I don't know, you just don't get the value. You compare him to other brawlers, other tanks, their supers are just so much better. So people have been talking about a rework or even remodels as well with Brawl. And I just think he's going to get everything. He's going to get a remodel, he's going to get a rework, and he's going to get this brand new Hypercharge thing that's going on. So a lot of love with Brawl. Again, he's been needing it for a long time. I feel like they've just neglected him, but they've obviously had this on the back burner for a long time. So you can just see in the whole clip, of course, it's literally Brawl talking about how he's charging up and all of that good stuff. You even go back to the Brawl Stars Twitter as well. You scroll down probably even a few months, maybe even 6 months. You see a lot of Bull on their graphics, and normally that usually tells a story with Brawl Stars. They're always one step ahead in terms of kind of their game plan going forward for the updates. So the next point is that a lot of brawlers, when I look at these animations or just kind of things leading up to the update, normally the brawlers that are involved in the graphics, the animations, they're typically the focus of the updates. So again, we've seen Cole, Bull, Shelly. These are OG brawlers, the kind of Western theme with Brawl Stars. So I just feel like they're going to get a remodel as well. I think this was spoke about in the podcast recently that they did with a few of the art people with Brawl. I don't know what, I completely butchered their names, but yeah, they were talking about kind of how brawlers are made and whatever else, and I believe there are going to be some remodels with the OG brawlers. So nothing kind of radical, but at least we're going to see some nice remodels. And the next one, which just keeps coming back to me time and time again, I'll keep replaying it on the screen so you can see, is when Bull is on his treadmill and kind of charging up to the max. He's getting stuff thrown at him by BBs. So for me, and he's not flinching, so you keep taking a look, he's not flinching. Looks like he's not even affected by this. He's just bulldozering his way through it like he usually does. But again, he's not affected. So I just feel like that's going to replicate in games. So maybe this kind of Hypercharge is going to be maybe a new super, which is an even bigger and better super to his old super, or literally his super could be getting a rework. Or another thing is that when he charges in, he's not going to be receiving any damage. He's not going to flinch, so he might be getting a shield, etc, etc. There's something to do with his super, I feel like, is a big talking point with his animation. So again, we can literally see in the title it says charging up to a max. So it's pretty obvious that these brawlers in the video, or just in general, are going to get bigger, better, stronger, faster, etc, etc. And then you can take a look as well in the trailer that there's a lot of Retropolis. I can probably I don't know, how do you even say that? I completely butchered that, but you get what I mean. The old theme, they might be returning. BB, Crow, Bull, they're appearing on the trailer a lot, and also just see in the background there's a lot of Retropolis stuff. So yeah, well, we might be seeing a return of it. Maybe that's going to be the theme, or those are the type of brawlers that are going to be targeted with this kind of Hypercharge. And then one thing that I've not seen really anyone point out is in the first frame, there's actually a rodeo robot. So there's literally a robot on top of a bull or something like that. So I think this actually goes into the theory that recently, again, in a few of the graphics that Brawl Stars tweeted out, I feel like Sam and Belle are going to be fixing / building up a robot. It was literally in the animation for a split few seconds. You can see Sam's kind of knuckles, and also, of course, you can see Belle in the main point of the frame. But this could be the brand new Brawler missing from their trio. And you can see as they're kind of building up this robot, his eyes change color to like a pink, or again, like that supercharged kind of theme. So for me, that robot's going to be supercharged up. That could be the brand new Brawler coming to the game. That could be the Brawler that's missing from their trio as well. So for the Gold Arm Gang trio, there's of course Sam and Belle, and then we could be having this robot. So for me, it does definitely lean towards that, in my opinion. People are talking about like Stu, Rico, maybe them getting the skin, but all robots pretty much look the same, right? I don't think that robot looks anything like Rico, anything like Stu, so we could be seeing a brand new robot into the game. That's just my opinion. And then finally, the final point that I want to kind of get out of this trailer is the ending, the Morse code at the end. I've been trying for a long while, for about an hour now. That's why it's taking a little bit longer to release this video. And I'm just terrible at Morse code. I don't know how to do it. I've asked on Twitter, I've asked on Reddit, and no one is giving me an answer. So surely someone knows in the comment section below what this Morse code is saying. I thought it said like 12 or power. I don't know. I got the feeling that it might be hinting towards power 12, but you'll have to let me know. So now moving on to the main point of the video, where we're going to ask the question, what is Hypercharge? So Hypercharge could be one of many things, but the first thing that straight away pointed out to me and a lot of people in the community when I've read their comments is that it reminds me of the evolutions from Clash Royale. So if you see the artwork of Clash Royale, and you also just see how things work, but I'll explain it if you guys are of course unfamiliar, because not everyone will be playing Clash Royale or are just playing it right now. So essentially with evolutions with Clash Royale, what they're doing is every update releasing one evolution, I believe, but they've released quite a few when it first dropped. But essentially every like 1, 2, 3 cycles of that card. So say if you put out a knight, I think it takes like 3 cycles, 2 cycles for it to actually be evolved, and then the troop becomes really strong. It gets extra HP, more damage, and it normally gets a special unique ability. So the knight, it will basically, when it's not attacking, it'll get like a percentage shield on it, so it just gets even tankier. There's of course the firecracker, which kind of reminds me of the Brock Incendiary. So I'm just throwing that out there just so you guys know what evolutions are. So essentially evolutions could be coming to Brawl Stars, so in the form of, I don't know, say for example, this could work in many ways basically. So it could work in a few ways. The first one is could be that your super could literally charge in a few cycles. So example, once you charge, I don't know, 3 supers, you could actually get your next super to be a hypercharged one, which would be a bigger and better super. So again, kind of looking back at the Bull one, how I mentioned that he doesn't flinch or whatever else, maybe you literally can super with Bull, you can stop it wherever you want, and he also doesn't receive any damage whilst charging. That would be a super, like a supercharge, hypercharge super that you would have. It could come in the form of another button, where I've spoke about this, of course, literally in a video last week. I knew something was coming in terms of the gameplay. They was really hyping it up. We've not had any big gameplay features for a while now, since literally Gears, I believe. So, you know, it was pretty evident to me. I felt like finally I've got my prediction right, in a sense. We're getting something new, and it could be the perfect time to literally add another button. It could be 2 supers. So maybe, you know, it takes a certain amount of damage to charge up one super, but then you have to do something else to charge up the other button. So you could essentially have 2 supers at the same time. Even that could be pretty good, but some people are really reluctant at the idea of another button in Brawl Stars. I won't really mind it. Adds a little bit more complexity to the game, which I feel like Brawl Stars definitely needs a little bit more of. You could also be rewarded in the form of a kill streak. So for example, you know, I play games like Call of Duty, or just typically it's been around for a while, where say for example, if you go on like a 3 kill streak, a 5 kill streak, then you might be rewarded with a second ultimate charge. So, you know, rewarding good gameplay, although it might reward camping a little bit, say, that's kind of one thing that happens in Call of Duty, where you might not necessarily kind of focus on the objective. So that could be maybe one reason why I want kill streaks in the game like Brawl Stars. But say if you're popping off, you get a triple kill and then it charges up your hypercharge. That could be a really cool moment, right? You've just earned the right to get that kind of ability. I think it would be good in a game like Brawl Stars. But also it could simply just be that if you hold your super and charge it twice, then it charges up the hypercharge super. So essentially, say again, if you're Bull and you've got your super, then literally another super charge could literally make it a hypercharge, so making it 2 times as stronger. Essentially, that could be a pretty cool one. The only thing is it might promote maybe slower gameplay, but then that might be worth it because you're getting the hypercharge, which is even better, allows you to make a better impact on the map. It could be that it charges separately already from your other super, hence another button being added. We've already spoke about that briefly. They could even limit the hypercharges per match. So say if it's too toxic, say if they're just too strong, because we don't want something game breaking. We don't want what happened with Clash Royale. Essentially in Clash Royale, they release evolutions and pretty much every single one they release is like game breaking. It really is. Like Firecracker, it was game breaking. At night when they released it, completely game breaking. We don't want that with Brawl Stars, because to me it's kind of like they're trying to leech money from the community in that sense. They're releasing an insanely broken thing in the game. Everyone wants to unlock it, spending money to get it, and then a couple of months later they just nerf it. That's kind of how the evolutions have been going in Clash Royale, just being honest. You know, I've been playing it quite a lot, but I don't really want that in Brawl Stars. So maybe the one way they could just limit this so it's not being abused in real matches. So make it 1 or 2 uses per game. I think that could be a really good balance. And then the last one, I think they could implement this with Power 12. So I didn't really want to mention this at the beginning, guys, but it has been nearly 2 years since Power 11. So for me, again, I spoke about it in my video last week. I think this could be the right time to introduce Power 12. There's been a lot of positive vibes for the community recently. They've been doing a lot in terms of helping progression, star drops. They've been adding bling as well. They've been doing so much for the game for the free-to-play players. I feel like there's something coming in terms of Power 12. And then people I've been seeing trying to maybe think that Power 12 isn't coming, saying, you know, Frank in the past has said that they don't want to implement Power 12 without a big reason. But this is literally the biggest reason as to why they would introduce Power 12. And I think it's going, guys. I know a lot of people are going to be angry, frustrated. I'm hoping Brawl Stars implements it right, unlike Clash Royale. Again, how they just implemented it was absolutely horrific. One of the worst implementations of another level, basically. They kind of lied to the community, saying that it weren't going to be costing any gold, and then it would just actually just cost some other form of currency. I don't know, it was just a terrible idea. I'm hoping Brawl Stars doesn't mess it up, and of course with Gears in the past, how they messed that up quite badly. It literally took nearly a year's worth of updates just to get the game back to how it was supposed to be. I think they've learned from their mistakes, hopefully, and they can implement Power 12 in a nice way. For me, what I would actually do is actually nerf the amount of power points it needs from Power 9 to 10, Power 10 to 11, and then of course then they could have more reasons to implement Power 12, in my opinion. I think that would be a pretty nice change. I don't think they would actually do that, but I think that would actually make people happy across the board. But yeah, Power 12, it seems like it's coming. Let me know what you think is coming with a brand new update. A lot of exciting things. If I was to give my prediction, I think that Hypercharge is probably going to be either another button, or the fact that once you charge your super multiple times or even twice, that it's going to go to this hypercharge. And I only think maybe a few brawlers per update will probably get this hypercharge. We'll have to wait and see. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Some exciting things, Brawl Talk coming soon. I'll keep you guys updated with all the info, so make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.